grateful. We are grateful. Please, over to you.
Hallelujah. First and foremost, let me apologize a million times for keeping you waiting. I have learned 2 lessons between when I moved from campus and this place. One of it is that be responsible for whatever happens to you. Whatever it is that happens to you, you can't pass it on to somebody. And then number 2, don't attempt shortcuts. Hello. Thank you. Yes, please, the slides. So please be responsible for whatever happens to you. So I won't pass the blame. Since yesterday, at specific times of the day, I will look at my watch and then I'll punch my Google Maps to give an estimation of how long it will take to get to Graceland. And at all times, it had told me that between an hour and 20 minutes, I will be here. So I programmed myself that I was going to set off 20 minutes before 5 o'clock. Before 6 o'clock, so that I will be here quarter by 6 o'clock, by 7 o'clock. And then I take off. And my map tells me where to pass. Then I called Pastor. Pastor, I had spoken to Pastor earlier. Pastor said, oh, use the motorway because that's... And then I climbed the Tatakwashi overhead and got myself locked into the motorway. And then I checked the maps and it says 2 hours. And there was no way to exit. You are stuck in. Hello. In life, there is no exit. You are stuck in. Tell yourself that you are stuck in. Now, and when you get stuck in, you got to be responsible for the decision you have made. Osofo was not with me. And now I had to face the road. And I had to speak to my driver to change course. And then I kept getting advice from Pastor. And then I am here. Forgive me for keeping you waiting. Hallelujah. Yes, I thank God that I'm here finally. Today, let me thank you, Osofo, and your presbytery, your executive and presbytery, for the opportunity to speak. I didn't want to come, but be it as it may, our lives are ordered and controlled. So who are we? Those of you who listen to politicians, the gentleman in Kumasi says, whom am I? You know that one? Whom am I to say I won't come? So I had to come. Thank you, Osofo, and for the opportunity. I've been asked to speak on a practical orientation on setting for peak achievement. My colleague, Professor Dateba, was here yesterday, and he's a great teacher and researcher. And so I do not doubt that he did justice to the topic, and I've heard a few of the things that he has said. Because our time is already gone, far spent, we want to go very quickly. Like Osofo said, my name is Justice. I want us to take a look at a number of things. Number one of it is that if we have to have any practical orientation to achieving peak performance or being peak achievers, there are a number of things that we need to take a look at. And because, as our time is fast spent, I will take us through 6 elements. Self-worth, and being an outlier, understanding the times, overcoming trained incapacity, getting into people's hearts, and a few other nuggets. These are the things that we'll go through very quickly. And then please take notes and ask me questions. Stop me if you think you need to stop me to ask any questions. Now, I'm sure, again, that yesterday we got a sense of what it means to be peak. Peak means peak. And so if you can see the... So this is what we'll go through. Actually, this is what I meant that we'll go through. Okay. Peak means peak. So peak means peak. And peak means peak. Because here, we are talking about the top. And I'll be sharing with you a few nuggets on how some researchers, scholars have actually brought themselves to peak. Anyone who has been at a mountainous area before, anybody has been to Afajatu? You have been to Afajatu? Great. Great. You would understand that getting to the top, to the peak, it's so energy exerting. But you will be shocked to hear that climbing up, as hard as it is much easier to climb than when you are descending. Are we here together? When you are climbing, the energy to climb is, but when you are coming, your knees are giving you away, and your ability to sustain yourself is weakened. And that's when you fall often. So when you are climbing up, you often do not fall. But when you are descending, you fall so many times before you get down. And you can actually liken that to life and making it. And I'm happy there are a lot of young people here. A lot of young people. I'm very, very happy because when I meet young people, I get excited. Unfortunately, I didn't get a good job to do. I did a job where I am always with young people. Teacher Juma. Yeah, what do people say? You people say that, ye teacher Juma, unye Juma, Papa, I know a jayako, everyone. But I tell you, there's no job as exciting as the job of a teacher. And the reason is that you get to mold life. You get to mold life. And I feel so good. Everywhere I go, I never suffer because everywhere I go, I will find one or two or many of my students who have climbed up to the peak and are happy to see me and they adore me. You know, na mitiada, I say, you know, Prof, I say, I don't want me to do mommy. But getting to the peak is such an important task for anybody who has lived in a mountainous area before. And why is that getting to the peak gives you a number of advantages that being at the base of the mountain doesn't give you. Number one is that if you get to the peak, you get clearer vision. Hello? What did I say? Once you get to the peak, you get clearer vision. So when you climb to Afajatu or any of the other high mountains, once you get there, you would see the extent of, sight you can actually see. You can see so far off. So getting to the peak gives you clearer vision because then you can see well. Number two, getting to the peak actually shows you how insignificant you are. Hello? When you get to the peak, it shows you how insignificant. That is why people who have accomplished and really accomplished well are never proud. Because by the time you get to the peak, you will see how insignificant you are. In fact, when I go to Afajatu and any of such mountains, and I've been to many places in the world, and we've been taken to higher mountains, and when you get to the top of the mountain, then you see how little you have become. Really, really insignificant, which makes it very difficult for you to be proud because in the end you have seen you say, Charlie, Ubia ni Ubia. So that is why young people who are here must want to get to the top. But because once you get to the top, you see that you have become insignificant. And the fact that you have become insignificant and see that there are bigger things around you actually spurs you on to want to achieve even more. Are we here together? So you got to get to the peak. You get to the peak, you see better. It makes you insignificant. When you become insignificant, it makes you hunger to want to acquire more. And you have control. I say you have what? When you get to the peak, you have control. You decide what you want. Because by the time that you get to the peak, all the people who would have been around you and pulling you down would have been left off. So when you get up there, you have control. There, you know that the people who have arrived there are also hot up. So when you are talking to people in that stage, you know that you have like-minded people. In fact, the weak ones have dropped. And that it is you and the few who can make what it is. So getting to the peak is absolutely important. Getting to the peak is absolutely important. Let's put it there. But let me take you through this. One of the things that I've often told myself is that to be able to get to the peak, three things are important. The things that I call self-worth. You get to the peak, I say that you have to ask the question, what value do I place on myself? And we will be seeing a few things soon. And listen, young people, three things are important. Three things. Your appearance. Hello? What did I say? I tell you, don't let people deceive you that it doesn't matter how you are dressed. Osofo, God bless you. I respect all Pentecost pastors because you dress well. Now, we'll see you. Learn something good. The first thing that you can place on yourself if you can achieve peak performance, number one, is your appearance. How do you look? When you wake up in the morning and you are getting to go somewhere and you go and shower and you do some, you get that, what I'm talking about, and your clothes are washed. They don't have to be expensive clothes. And you dress, you yourself, you dress, and you stand and you look yourself in the mirror and you are properly clothed. And remember, I don't know what you say, they say, no, what say, no, I shall who are here. Now, what swag back home. You yourself, how do you feel? Hello? So you cannot achieve, because you see, when you yourself, you are not properly clothed, and you begin to get close to people. When they say, come, oh, come, please come closer. When they ask you to come closer, you yourself, you are going, especially the young men, please, wash your clothes. Hello? What did I say? Have I insulted anybody? I have 2 boys and a girl, and we fight in the house every day. Please, using perfume is good, but please, I say, wash your what? And smell good. Now, our weather is such that if you wear a shirt once and you have done anything between 15 and 30 minutes walk, that shirt is not a shirt that will survive another wearing. Are we here together? Because it would soak up sweat, and when you go and put it in the room where there's no sun, it's the science people will say it ferment. Now, Nunu say, and I'm being serious, young men, you can't. So, but the serious bit of it is that please look nice. Also, the way you are dressed, if you were sitting in Trotro and somebody's phone got missing, and another person was dressed the way I really wanted to dress and come today. I really wanted to dress today with a shorts one shorts and this one, with some Crocs. That some Papa, my friend is saying. Yes, some Papa wanted the president said, "Ma will be back at you." And you are in that rotro and you can't find your phone. Who will you look up to? Are we here together? Number 2, if you were a CEO of a serious company and you appeared in front of your office and you find 3, 4 young people seated, and one is properly shirted, not suit, properly shirted, clean shave, proper shoe, great belt, and is shirted, and all of them try to appear or come to you, what do you think this reception will be? And I receive students in my office. I don't prejudice people. I don't judge people based on their appearance. I don't. But our world is a world where we profile people. What did I say? We profile people. Now, if somebody has insulted you many times, or you find a particular somebody with a certain type of behavior or certain type of dressing, they've insulted you many times. Anytime you see somebody who is dressed like that, you will remember your insult. So whilst a lot of people will not typically judge you, they would profile you and they would unconsciously treat you differently from the way they treat other people. And so one of the most important things I ask you to do is look good, smell good, feel good, and be confident. You don't have to be expensive. It actually says you don't have to be expensive. No, you have to be expensive. You don't have to be expensive. You can just be simple. And what I mean by that is that you can have a t-shirt, you can have 5 shirts, 3 shirts. You make sure that you wash them every weekend. Make sure they are ironed. Make sure that you dress nicely. Everywhere you go, people respect you. I tell you, I've given lifts to students in my school. I drive a 2023 small Camry, 2023 model. That's what I drive. It's tear rubber. When I close from work and I'm going, sometimes towards midnight, and I see students struggling to get to their hostel, depending on the way the student is dressed, I give them a lift. I drive them all the way to their hostel before I go home. But when I see others, I am scared. Are we here together? So, but as I say, do not get me wrong. I am just talking about how our world is wired. How many of you remember the experience of the young man who wanted to go to Achimota? You remember? Have you seen the outcome of that boy's performance? But what is it that almost denied him his destiny? His hair. And the entirety of Ghana, only a handful of people stood up and said, allow him. And you may not be lucky to get people who will speak up for you. So let your dressing speak up for you. Number 1. Number 2, acquire knowledge. What did I say? And by all means, I say acquire knowledge. Please, if you are here and you are a young man, please. Those of us, when we read the Bible and we hear the story about the Hebrew boys and the fact that they were wise and they gathered knowledge and they were 10 times better than their peers and all of that, we think it is a joke. It is not a joke. I am admitting students now. We're supposed to admit 600 people. We have admitted over 1,000 into the business school. The BA who are doing BA admin, we have admitted another 2,000, right? Big people come to me in the office, they are scared to enter. But the people I love to talk to most is when I see a young man or a young woman whose parents are not following him or her. He knocks my office and enters and says, Prof, this is my problem. I address them and I solve the problem for them right there and then. Especially when you speak and I see that you speak knowledge. Hello? By all means, I say speak knowledge. Please cook yourself. A young person, the value anybody will place on you will be based on what comes out of your mouth. And what comes out of your mouth cannot be in a vacuum. It is a product of what you have studied, what you have learned, what you have read. Is there anyone here who has read a storybook in 2023? Hello? Are we here together? In that process of acquiring knowledge, note that you would have to learn, unlearn, and relearn. Because when we are growing up, there are several things that we get told. You go to school, learn. When I was a student, I went to Yejide Secondary Technical School. Yejide Secondary, we added a day for people to know that it is a day school. At the time, there was no electricity in the entire of the Atebubu district, let alone Yeji. No town there had electricity. So we carried our bubu from the house in the evening to go for preps and come back home. The school was established in the 1970s. By the time that we got to Form 5 to write exam, no individual student has written exams there and passed once. None. And it was that school that I was in, and it was that place I was going to write O-level. But I had told myself, I was brought from the village. My parents were farmers. I was brought from the village and dumped in town. I don't know where the motivation came from, but I stuck to my books every day. I went to work for people on their farms, and when I got the money, I sent it to people to buy books for me. And I had read every book that I had bought 100 times over. Such that if I gave you any of my pamphlets and you open to a page, I ask you, which page? Say page 25. Then I ask you, read the first sentence. If you read the first sentence, I will continue the rest of the sentence. I will rattle it that way the Muslims rattle Quran until the end of that book. When I enter exams, I can see a screen, literally a screen in front of me, rolling the answers that I have to write. I suffered it one day. One of my teachers brought my script, my government paper, to the class and asked somebody to hold the paper. I asked another person to take the notes. And asked, read one paragraph. They'll read one paragraph. They'll read my notes. Everything, dot to dot. Then he finished and asked them, how much should he give me? Then the against people say, oh, sir, wait, raw, choo, raw. Failing no. The bad people, they are everywhere. You too, you couldn't produce one line. You say you're failing me. Yeah, you always find those people there. What I'm talking to you about is using your time well. I say use your time what? We will get to another point here, and I will make this. The next thing is about your speech. Sorry. The next thing is your speech. How do you speak? I've given space to young people to tell me what their problems are. And they are not able to put their thoughts together. Other times, they come to you and they can't be coherent. They can't put an argument together. They can't stitch an argument together. This is where you get a lot of opportunities and young people blow them. So you put a call to somebody, and I pick every call. I answer my Twitter. You send me a tweet, I'll reply. I go to Facebook, I reply. I do every one of those. You send me a message, I will reply you. Then somebody calls me and says, what is it that you want? Tell me what you want. If a pastor was the president and sitting here and say, tell me what you want. But also, how well do you speak? I posted something 13 years ago where I said, bath your mouth. Jaruano. Bath your mouth. And I said that bathing your mouth is not about water. When I say bath your mouth, the point I want to make is how good does the words that come from your mouth smell? Ukasa, are you the type who will speak and people will want to listen to you? You can't get to the peak if you don't have how great way of. So your value that I'll place on you, I can see three things. One of it I can see, the way you address. That I would see. I should give you even more value when you begin to speak. The things that are coming. And the way you stitch your speech together, I should tell you, please come in. So a young man cannot achieve peak unless you put value on yourself. To put value on yourself, take note of these three. Let's go quickly and let's see my next point that I want you to have a look at. How many of you have seen this book before? This is written by Malcolm Gladwell. He is a very, very powerful writer. This book he titles The Outlier. Now, if you have to be, and I suspect that Prof. Databaya would have told you so, if you have to be a peak performer, you have to be an outlier. Being an outlier requires a number of things. This man wrote this book and did some work. Incidentally, his first chapter, I'm not sure whether he's a Christian, but his first chapter is titled The Matthew Effect. And the Matthew Effect, he quotes Matthew 25:29. What does he say? Matthew 25:29. If anybody has open, if you can read for us. It's good. Yes. For everyone who has will be given what? And he who has an abundance, whoever does not have, even what he has will be taken away and what? And given to those that. So this man writes the book titled Outliers. And the book is an investigation of the life of people who are at the top of their careers. So footballers, those who are top performers. Musicians, those who are top performers. American Indian, those who are top performers. Those who do top performers. He investigated computer scientists, top performers. Those people who, did iPhone and all of those, all the top performers. And he concluded this. That the outliers, those that are at the peak of their career and are exemplified, are those who make a good effort in the midst of every average person. And he says, when people make a little effort in the midst of all the average persons, they get all the help available. So he uses footballers who go for, those who go for trial, how do you call that? Justify your inclusion, right? So, justify. So, the young men here, I put you here, I say play football, and then let's look at those that we can select to join. Which are your football teams? Real Madrid, yes. Chelsea, Somebody say, "Oh, we have you." or which other team? Arsenal, or City, yeah, right. Phobia. Me too have a phobia, so the coaches are there, and we are looking to select the best into the best team. Malcolm Gladwell argues that those who show a little effort or skill above the average persons would be selected by the coaches. And once they get selected by the coaches, they go and they are provided all the support they require to be able to reach their peak. In other words, he uses the Matthew story that says that for everyone who has, will be given what? More. So when we take you here, and that is why it is important that every day as a Christian, every day when you are stepping out, you should know that it is an opportune time for you to encounter God and get a transformation. Because every day there is God out there looking to do somebody good. You don't want to miss an opportunity because today you were not prepared. So, Malcolm Gladwell's argument is that for those who show minimal effort, average effort, they get selected, they get invested, they get all the investment that is required to make them excellent, and they boom. And I am sure that you may have encountered that. So if you are here and you are seeking to be peak performers, this is what you do. Anytime there is an opportunity to showcase something, especially when it's a group, prepare. I say, do what? Because that is where. So we are coming to sing. Oh, we are coming for choir practice. You there, you won't practice at home. It is here you come and practice. That is the day you will come and you will. The young lady that, okay, she's not young, but who sang the sing-a-thon. A lot of you were angry about her voice, right? Has she told you she was going to do a voice competition? But the Matthew effect says that those who prepare and put themselves in a good place where they can meet opportunity are the people who get to the apex. And that who are positioned in the place where they can hold the rope are those who can climb up to the top. But even more importantly is the second point. The 10,000 hour rule. Malcolm Gladwell argues that for all of the experts that he has studied across the world, across professions, across generations, no one has risen to the top of their profession except people who have committed a minimum of 10,000 hours into their practice. Hello? Are we here together? So if you want to be a peak performer, I bet you won't sleep. Young man, 25, you sleep for 12 hours. How can you sleep like that? You come from church, you come for early service, first service, you get home like 11, then you work at Thai Banku. Now, where be windows where you found that 200. What does you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that. Yesterday, me, February 22nd, I'll be 52. Yesterday, this morning, I left my office after my wife had called me at 3:23. My wife called me 3:23, and 10 minutes later, I left the office. I sat in the office working till daybreak this morning. So I got home around 4 a.m. and set my alarm to wake me up at 7 because I had an 8 o'clock meeting. And that meeting lasted me to 9:30, and I took off to another meeting where I was facilitating a session, facilitator. Throughout, and from there, I came straight into another meeting. In fact, as soon as I sat in the car, my driver was there, I was in another meeting. And then I finished, and I've been on the road, and I'm sitting here. From here, I'm going back to the office because I have to go and prepare for day 2 of that event. I have no single slide. I'm not going to go and prepare. Now, Montgomery says that no one has risen to the peak of their performance unless they have invested a minimum of 10,000 hours. What does it come up to? That's what I tried to put it there. 10,000 hours divided by 24 gives you how many days? 424 hours. So if you're working 24 hours, you will need 100 and so a year and a number of, you are working 24 hours, but nobody works 40 hours, right? Now, if you are working 8 hours, you will need 1,250 days to get to anywhere close that. That will bring you to 3.4 years. So if you are working 8 hours, 8 hours from 8 in the morning to 5 p.m., if you are a student, you are learning hard, 8 hours. That is when you can blow all the A. And to say, if you are not going to copy, you are not going to do a poll. I tell you, you are not going to get closer to any grade if you are not investing this amount of time in your studies. If you are a keyboardist, right? So you don't know those guys, when you go, some of them when you are going, then they carry the instrument, you go throughout the night, they are sitting down. By the time they get here and start playing and you are jumping, you know the amount of hours they have put in there. Check those who do computer, those who do coding. The number of hours they do. So I tell young people when I meet them, I say, you go to secondary school this year 1, boom. Tell yourself that you are not going to spend 8 hours, which will take you 3 years. In other words, if you spend 8 hours learning, to blow be on top and not just be an ordinary like that Rasta young man, you will see the amount of time that they have invested. So, lady and gentlemen, getting to the peak, it's not by either edge or. What did I say? Peak is not by either edge. It is not cold yam. In other words, it takes tough skin. On a regular day, and my students ask, well, how do you do that? On a regular day, the earliest I've left my office is 11 p.m. every day. For a very long time, I have not had 6 hours continuous sleep. It's a luxury. When young people work with me, when they come, I squeeze the blood out of them. The first time they come, 5 o'clock, they will come, oh, Prof, we want to close. So I say, yo, okay, bye-bye. Then they go. The next day they come, 5 o'clock, oh, Prof, time is up. Oh, they are watching their time. I say, okay, oh, bye-bye. Because it happened to me. I work for a professor. And the first day I got to work, 5 o'clock, I went to tell Prof, it's time, I have to go. He said, okay, bye-bye. Second day, third day, I told myself, the past 2 days, I was the first to leave. So I don't want to be the first to leave today. I'm waiting to see when the first person will leave before I go. Then, 7 o'clock, before the first person got up, then I also picked my bag. Okay, me too, I am going. When I am in office at 11 p.m., that is the time I do references for students who have requested a reference. And you call a TA, you are wanting additional information. What that 3 hours, 11 o'clock. What that 3 hours. I tell you, the young men, you won't get a wife. Challenge your word. Boss, you did. I say your word. So 10,000 hours means that you must put consistent effort in the thing that you do. Listen, when we come to church, we come and we claim a lot of things. I beg you, God himself worked. Hello? God himself worked. Young people, there is a lot you can get from prophetic ministration, laying of arms, and the transference of power. But I tell you, in this physical body, you have to exert yourself and position yourself in the place where the opportunity will meet you and take you along. Have I insulted you? Praise the Lord. So 10,000 hours would make you an outlier. Now, an outlier is one that understands his value. An outlier is one that knows when to spend the time. Please, your phone is a big distraction. Learn to put your phone aside. I crashed my son's phone in the middle of the house. Joshua. The phone. Pram. Oh, daddy. It's my money I used to buy. It's my money I step on. The phone is a big distraction. Please, you can't do well when you are always on your phone. A lot of these gadgets tell us how many hours of screen time we have. You can see your screen time, the number of hours you spend watching the screen. Check that and see whether or not you think this will take you anywhere. Please, young people. Don't come to those who come to Legon. You don't learn. Then you go and get quill. Then you come and say the paper I did well. Pa. Anybody that did well got a good grade. There is never, unless there's a mistake that happens somewhere. If you studied, you would pass. There's nothing like chance. No. You will pray God will give you energy to study. God is not going to give you the energy to sleep to get a grade. God will give you the energy to study. You will sit, you tell God, I want to do 3 DB. And you are seated on your computer. Or you are seated on your book. And you are reading your book. And you are working your book. You are working your salvation with fear. And by the time the grade comes, your father, your mother will be happy about your life. There are scholarships to be grabbed. There are opportunities out there. If you know how many people, a young lady came to me one time. She was going to be married. And this young lady had gotten admission to do MBA in Health Services Management. And she was going to be married. So when she got her admission letter, she took it, and she was in Obuasi. She took it to go and show it to her husband. And what they are called, ne fiancé fi ho no ma ye dede wanya admission. The whole place, everybody jubilated, and she was going to get wedded soon. Then we realized that we made a mistake. And what was the mistake? She made a 3rd class, and we admitted her in error. And the university says, when we admit you in error, we reserve the right to withdraw the admission. So we withdrew the admission. The young lady, I was the head of the department, she spent 1 week in my office. Every morning she would come. She would sit in front of my office. She would cry from morning to evening. Yeah, withdraw an admission. And why did we withdraw the admission? She made a 3rd class. She made a 3rd class. There is no amount of crying or regret or, that will rewind the time, the clock of, the hand of time. Please, this is the opportunity for you to make sure that you don't put your energies to learning. Please learn. Young man, if I were you, look, and I'm not saying if I were you because I just feel like saying that. That is what I did to myself. I almost brought my transcript to show you. Me transcript no. Oh, one kasa will be feeling. I told you that school, nobody had passed once to go there. We wrote O level. The results came. Bawole, pie, distinction. The whole town went agog. People, all men and women took bicycles and walked to come and see Bawole. Who is Bawole? Yes, who attract distinction. The whole, the Kroma ye dead. Mr. Kroma ye dying. We are bad, pa. Edi ami pa ni teacher Bawole. Any of friend went to have his salary crab me pay. Aha. One friend me teacher Bawole this cash who may you need na ma so ya. Teacher Bawole. Yes, that title, I love it. I love it. Oh, we just are. Where's our mom between my there? Consistency is scriptural. Consistency, spending time to do it and do it the way you want it. Please understand the times. For many of us, we do not bring ourselves up to date. We are admitting students, and there are hundreds of students who have got excellent grades and they are missing admission. Why? People, some of them as close as Mimpasam near Legon. They refuse to walk to Legon to ask, if you want to enter Legon, what must you do? They write, I've got so many calls from church members. Some of them have sent me results. What you have selected, you can't be admitted, even though you have excellent grades. Understand the times. The time in which we are is the knowledge generation. This time, you cannot just do your life anyhow and feel that you can get to the peak. Because the competition is intense. Look, every year we used to take 2,000 students business school alone. This year, the rule was to cut down the number to 600. And this year, so the competition, I say the pressure is what? Worse. Most things do not stay the same. There are always highs and lows. So as a young person, every time, get close to the knowledge spots. Look out for great things to do. You are here. What have you studied? It doesn't matter whether you are made it to go to secondary school or not. I know people who dropped out in secondary school and are making money today, and they have houses in East Legon. There are young men here who are working for companies abroad. They haven't finished school in Ghana. They just went to YouTube, learned how to code, learned how to do data entry, and all of that. And they are here and they are working for companies abroad, and they are making millions of CDs. I'm a counselor. 2 young people came for counseling. And then I asked them, what do you do? This one, what do you do? This one says, I am a cryptocurrencist. This one says, I'm a cryptocurrency. Hey, at the end, they have houses in East Legon. If you know the number of hours they put in their eyes, but that thing, don't go there by heart. Huh? Hello? But there are people who are investing time and understanding themselves. There are so many scholarships abroad people are waiting. Please make sure that you understand the times. Our times are very tough times. The competition is tough. One job, hundreds of young people are applying. So you got to be able to understand that your generation is not like my generation. At the time, I didn't know anybody. I just sat in Yeji, applied to get to Legon. The day they reopened school, I went to open the box. My admission letter was there. And I took a car the following day. I came to Legon. Today. So please understand the times. Make sure that you understand what you want to do. Get advice. Talk to somebody who knows what's up. Get close to somebody who can advise you. Learn something. Please go there asking. And one good source to bring yourself to understanding what is happening is the internet. You can use it for good or you can use it for bad. One of the things you should do, ask how to cook banku and kwai. Type it in and you will see what you would get. How to slap a pastor without him knowing. You would get, in fact, type there how to become a president. Everything you type, you will get responses. So if you have a phone that is connected to the internet, you are on the highway to understanding the times and doing all the things that you need to do. Please, don't get yourself trapped in what I refer to as trained incapacity. What did I say? Trained incapacity. Again? So what is trained incapacity? Trained incapacity is a situation where some knowledge you acquired in the past has become a stumbling block for you to be able to do new things. Okay. Oh, as for this one, this is what we were told. Times have changed, you got to. So trained incapacity is where you are refusing to allow yourself to change. And when you become trained incapacity, in other words, for especially those of us who are a bit old, you are here and you are past 30, your generation is slightly off. But you can bring yourself up to speed. There are some people who became secretaries, learned how to type using the typewriter. We have moved on. There are people who, learned how to drive using the manual, right? Times have changed. Move on. Training capacity is where, and my school, we want to buy automatic vehicles. All the drivers say they don't want automatic vehicles. Oh, and the has a debi. A friend say, automatic car will say debi. Why? Because you have become used to why you become used to. Please. And this professor says that when people become trained incapacitated, they become unfit because they refuse to change and they don't fit into new systems. And a lot of young people are losing jobs these days because of that. They enter a job and things are changing. They don't want to change. The company, when we went online, a lot of companies decided that they were going to cut down the number of times people came to work and ask people to stay home and work. And a lot of young people lost their jobs because they will stay at home and they won't work. So don't lead yourself. You can't be at a peak when you allow yourself to be. In other words, you got to update your skills every day. You got to update your skills every day. Getting to that peak performance means that you must update yourself and get away from being trained incapacitated. Trained incapacity. Change. You are my brother, the one who comes directly after me. My father's general, I was the only one that was taken to school. The one who comes directly after me went to learn how to to become a carpenter. Then he learned how to make the chairs that they foam tumuno. Then when he finished, I told him that, things are changing. Now people don't make that, people make stuffing furniture. So you have to go and learn. He says, but in Yeji, nobody was making. I said, I'll take you to Kumasi. So I took you to Kumasi. I asked him to learn how to do the stuffing furniture. And then he finished. And then I said, well, your job would entail a lot. You also need to know how to roof. And then we took him and he started learning how to roof. He learned how to roof. He's literally everything he can do. When he does, it's a big room, nobody can, he will come, he will stand, use his eyes, gauge it. He never went to school. Excellent, he will deliver for you. So you got to change. Now, the people started using machines. And it became difficult. So the boys didn't want to do planing again. So he too has to change, because if you don't change, you would. And then people started using patterns. You have to change. If you don't change, you. So all of us, and I do so, I am very, very adept. I sit down in the night to learn. And one way by which I learn is to get young people who know how to do it, and they teach me. So it is important to understand that you cannot remain untrained. You can't get to peak performance if you cannot train and retrain yourself and retrain yourself. Sometimes it's very annoying. By the time you finish getting to know how to do something, it's gone out of date. New ones are coming and all of that. But if you watch young children, you give your phone to a young boy who has never held this phone, the way they would immediately go to place, you ask, where did they learn that from? Yes, so that's the generation that comes along with it. So please ensure that you can bring yourself and train yourself up. Now, a number of things that we need to. Anybody has read this book before? Hello? Yes. If you, those guys who sell books on the street, if you get one buy, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And I picked up a number of lessons from that book for you. When you work in a group, when you work with people, when you are under someone, when you are somebody's boss, to be able to get things to happen to you. In organizational studies, we say there will always be resistance to change. The best way to get people to change is to make sure they understand and they are for the change, so that they don't push against the change. And so when you work with people, you need to get them to be on your side for you to get things to happen. If you work with a boss, you need to know how to talk to your boss. You need to know how to get to his heart. You need to be able to, how do you address your boss and all of that. I learned that a lot. When I'm going to a big man to look for something, I will read about them, everything about them, their family, their children, their work, everything. And I go to them through that. So I go to them and say, hey, Osofo, I read your Sunday's message on your Facebook. Oh, Papa, the message was very good. I come to you talking about you, about what you have done, how that is affecting me. The man is busy. He will pause and look up to you because you are connecting with him. So we say, don't criticize people. Don't condemn people. Don't complain. Please, don't be careful. Don't criticize. Oh, so obi adena nya me anka. That's not what I said. Don't criticize. Don't condemn. Don't complain. When you have to tell people what it is they have done that is not good, there are always good ways to do it. There are always. I was asked to come and train soldiers in Takrady, and I went. And the reason why they asked me to come, and the commander said, these days when the young soldiers come and you ask them to do before complain, they are asking you plenty questions. They don't want to obey instructions. So they want me to orient the old people to know the ways of the young people. I said, why are they? But please don't criticize. When you start criticizing people, they coil and they fight back. You can correct people without critiquing them. Oh, Kofi, could we have done this way? This thing that you did, could you have tried another way? Kofi, is that the only way you could have done it? Could you have tried another way? Do you want to try it another way? Something. And give honest and sincere appreciation when people do things well. So when we work with people, how many of you here have said thank you to your daddy for Christmas goat that you ate? The goat. Or you didn't eat goat? We are sure. Say last year, then I read, you didn't say thank you. How can you get another one? Say thank you to anybody that does you good. Say thank you. Give honest appreciation when people do things. It can be very small. Still appreciate them. Even when the person advises you, say thank you. Even when the person criticizes you, this time, say thank you, because they will come again. Make sure that you give honest and sincere appreciation when people do. Arouse in the other person an eager to want, or an eager want. In other words, let people be in the position to do something again for you. There's a young man who came from the village and he couldn't pay his fees, so I paid his fees. I helped him gradually, and then he finished school. Then he came to me in the office to tell me that he has finished school, he wanted to go. So, as usual, I thought he was just coming to say, oh, maybe a school team, maybe I call and probably say thank you for all that you have done for me. He came and said, and brought his yam phone. Says, I finished school and I'm going to go, and I don't have an Android phone, so I'm not able to go on social media, and I've come to see if you buy me. Sometimes they not me use yam phone, and I made mistake here in school. We no, we can't thank you umpo, or be pay Android phone. I'm saying then can be why. How? Unfortunately, to date, he hasn't done well. Because he doesn't have a heart to say thank you. Do you have a heart to say thank you? Jesus asked, weren't 10 of you who received your healing? Where have the 9 been? Only you have come. Say thank you. Send a message. Say thank you. Call and say thank you. I call to say thank you. It's very, very important if you can be on the peak. Because you see, for those of you who have been to when you are climbing, sometimes the person who will stop and wait for you, stop and wait for you so that you can rest more, and he will climb up with you. It's more than the person who will give you money when you are downstairs at the base of the bottom. So you can't, especially when it gets tough, not a lot of people. So give people the opportunity to want to help you again, because you are investing your time well. Don't go and use the money to blow chiboom. But also become genuinely interested in other people. So somebody helps you. You're a young man. Somebody's paying your school fees. I watched a video 2 days ago. A woman who said she's been helping a woman pay her child's school fees. Throughout. And I say, this poor woman's house, body baby sisi ho. And the body na asun kama big body. And this rich woman says, she's always looking at the body and say, oh, bronya ye kama mi obe twa ba kokra mami a. Saka mi de abo apesi bi edi. Mami no twa body no, o se o de command sofo. What if body ko che no so hwe no ba, this woman that she's coming to collect school fees again. Na mami no say, hey, call sofo na ko. But the point we are making is not about osofu and body, but it is about also being able to do things for people. There are a lot of young people here. Somebody is paying your school fees. You can sleep 12 hours. You won't go to that person's house and say, Daddy, can I iron your things for you? Mama, can I help you to wash your bowls? Daddy, can I clean your car for you? I came to clean your car. Oh, I came to duster your, just that. I'm not telling him about Mabano. Sabiu, be a Jimmy pa. And we need to tell you. We need to tell you. Because you go to somebody's house, and I tell my kids, I sat down throughout the night And I'm going to sit down throughout the night because I have to go and make money and come. Then you come. You didn't do anything for me. Now I take 1,000 and say, go and pay your school fees. Then you walk away. Then on Sunday, me this say, man, I am struggling to iron my things. I'm struggling to polish my shoe. Are you here? Check yourself. The other times, also smile small. I say, do what? It doesn't mean that you don't have a problem. Smile small. When you smile, you look nice. You look good. When you meet people and you smile, it breaks the barrier to want to talk, to get to talk to. Especially young ladies who are closer to getting married. If I thought, Srikakra, why? I beg, Srikakra. Srikakra. Eh, bra kwame, now Srikakra. Because bra kwame now issue the alignment on one about worry. Hello. When I had to get married, we'll close soon. When I had to get married, my wife was working with the district assembly, and I was a teacher. So then I went to propose, and she agreed. So I was in Yeji, she was in Atebu. Then we were coming for a program in Atebu, and she went to gather her friends to come and say they want to prepare a meal kakra. Yaba ani, I mean even now for one, so yabe didi kakra. Yaba ya yabe didi kwa yasani anya trouble. Hey, the teacher ni issue the alignment said they already know kwa he. Hey, ne trousers no kura say ji say ja. She say ja say no hey. Oh, Debbie, yeah, we party on fatal, we don't fatal. Oh, teacher Bawole. Hey, teacher Bawole, top man shoe, a de alignment by the oh. Hey. After that thing, when I call my, then after I say, I don't know, I had to team. Hey, I had to go back to the closet to go and pray. I have to pray. Blow the foolish tongues. Hey, we'll be a fire. Then I try small and identify. Once the thing far, I'm channel my bar school, I'm channel my real degree, I'm channel my ATA, I'm channel a family lecturer. Before I ever family lecturer, I never told me first car. Now me and my wife go for a chrome hall. Then the friends, my wife to the car went and also show you there. Hey, bro, justice, one top and one brother. I say, I'm born a metabremo. I'm born a metabremo. More empire, Fubia, mommy boy, eh? After I didn't have a woman, papa, no. One family say, we don't saw me some who. Look, get into the peak, eh? There are some people, they have made themselves, look, they would deal with you. Hey, am I away, pa? Anytime I go to Atebu, me kobia me the car from Echo. Me kwa na makocha you or honum. Kocha you or honum. Kocha you or honum. Even Jesus, when he healed the sick, he said, go and show yourself. I feel that we should need alignment. What's the man in fact? I mean, nonsense. I tell you. Often talk about the good of people. Many of us have friends. But we never speak good about them. People work for you, you never speak good about them. One of the things that God has given me a good heart for is to celebrate people, no matter how small their contribution to me is. The young people that I work with. And every one of them who has come closer to me, God has made them great. Every one of them. Every one of them, I pick them up. They work with me. They come to my house. They will come and eat fufu and make the place dirty. They will get up. They take my car. They will crash it. They will, now every one of them is a big person. Several of them abroad. The very first of them is now with the World Bank. He moved to the World Bank in Washington, D.C. Oh, Prof, come and cool yourself small in D.C. We, teacher Bawole, Go cool me ho. Talk more about their good part. When you encounter people, be careful not to tear down people. Because the same group of people who would give a testimony about you, they will say good things about you. Getting to the top would also test your character on how to get there. One thing I always say, don't destroy people on your way to the top. Because there is no top if there are no people. Did you hear that? Never destroy people because you want to get to the top. Because the top really is no top. There's a young man in our church. He comes to me and says, Prof. Bawole, how do you feel being a big man and being at the top? Then I ask him, am I at the top? Because I always want to be with the rest of the people who So don't destroy people. Because the top is the top when there are people. So don't tear down people. I tell you, especially those of you who work, be the last person to speak ill about the previous boss to the new boss. Hello? Pastor will be here for a while. Church of Pentecost, here be 6 years, 5 years, 6. They will transfer you. Another pastor will come. Then you will go to that pastor. Hey, Pastor Auntie. Boy, yeah. I beg you. Let it not come from your mouth. And in organizations, people who do that, who talk about other people, by the time you talk to two people about two people, the two people know that you are a bad person. And they'll start avoiding you. They won't tell you their secrets. Why? Because you can't keep your mouth shut. Talk about their good. Celebrate them if they have done good. Keep things that they confide in you about. Listen to other people. Let other people learn to listen to people when they talk. Pay attention. Talk in terms of other people's interest and make the other person feel important. And do so sincerely. Let people feel important. You work in a group. You are a choir. Let the other people feel important. Don't want to take the shine alone. Because people who get to the top are people who are supported by many. You can't be at the peak. And I told you, when you get to the top, you have control. When you get there, you have control. That control must make impact. And if the control must make impact, then the people around you should feel that they can get something from you. If you don't do that, you will get into trouble. I beg you, don't run. How many of you have seen this man before? You have seen this video? Yes. You have to on the phone? Yes. So I teach leadership, and when my students come, the first day I ask them to watch the video, and I don't list this. I ask them to listen and write the lessons. I don't tell them how many lessons there are. Some will write 2 lessons, some will write 5 lessons, but there are actually 10 lessons that this man talks about. One of the things that made this man's speech very popular was the very first one, where he talked about laying your bed. And many parents took it and forwarded it to their boys who make their room nasty. They say make your bed and all of it. But there are 9 lessons in there. The first one is that getting to the peak actually starts small. And so you must make sure that you conquer smaller things first before you aim to the peak. You are here and you are thinking about PhD. Meanwhile, Wasi, you are struggling. Please, conquer Wasi first. Hello? Conquer Wasi first. You can dream big, but start it small. Make sure that you start small. Look into your life and see the things that you have control over to overcome. And clean that first. Deal with that first. Move small. Move small, small, and make it a point to document the things that you get. Write it down. Make sure you do it. Find someone to help you. Because, as I said, if you remember, the one that will stop by and say, hey, Jack, let's do it. Let's do it. Don't worry. Another step. You will get to the top. You need support if you have to be. And that support you can find from everywhere. In the church, you can. Wherever you live, you are. There are people in your community who work in big organizations. Make friends with the neighborhood, big guys there. Go to that person who lives in your neighborhood who is always driving their car out and not talking to anybody, and go and make friends with them. Just go and greet them. The young ladies, be careful because it's very dangerous. But in that case, go with your friends, right? Go with two of you. Say, we came to greet you and to introduce ourselves to you. We want to know a bit more about you. I am in this school. My aim to go here and all of that. There's a young lady that I admitted this year. She sent me a tweet on WhatsApp. And then, on Twitter. Sent me a tweet and said she's applied for Legon and we changed the cutoff and she's complaining plenty. Then I asked her, what do you want? He says, I want BSc admin. I said, no, but you can't get BSc admin. Your aggregate. Do you want fee pay? He says, no. I said, okay. And then she will talk plenty. I asked her, young lady, what do you want? Tell me what you want. She says, okay, I want insurance, finance, and mathematics. Okay, you have it. I said, you will get admitted. Then 3 times a day, she would send me. I said, madam, I am very busy. I have told you, I am the dean of the business school. I have told you, you will come to business school. This program, you get admitted. Just wait. Several others haven't been admitted. She reached out to me on Twitter, and I have admitted her. She doesn't know anybody. She says her mother can't pay the fee-paying fees. The mother even says she should wait and come to school next year. I mean, Niska, but bus school. She's passionate to come to school. She reached out. She got admission. Big people today, big Baumia's aide camp, the military man who is following Baumia, he came to my office today. He's looking for admission for the son. Onyaye. Some young lady in Kumasi. That young lady is in Kumasi. She's been admitted. Are we here, young people? So you can break it when big people can't even make it. Stop this thing about, and they say if you don't know any big man, you dress nice, appear there, greet, rhyme your talk, rhyme it many times, rehearse it, go there, greet, introduce yourself, tell somebody there who you are and what kind of help you want, and the fact that you think they are the ones that can help you. Somebody will definitely come through for you. Because you see, God gives us favor. Yeah. Respect everyone. Some of us, we have been to school. My school, the people who I love most are my security men and cleaners. They are the ones my students don't respect. So if you are a student and I see you disrespect those guys, you are in trouble. Why? Because they are the lowest people in our ladder. Some of us here, we too, we won't respect anybody. No elderly person will talk to you and you will stand and listen. Please. Bossu, you haven't reached anywhere. If you know where people have been. Hey, Adriani Aman for dinner Sunday. Kabe steady what? I say respect everybody. Do what? Also that our faith, you are a Christian. Me, I tell people, I can't look somebody in the face and do them bad. Even people do me bad, then your friends will come to you and say, this guy, pay him back. And I say, if I pay him back, how different am I from him? Because they will do that. Why should I do that? No, I can't do that. It doesn't make you a fool. It only shows what level you have reached that others haven't reached. It tells you who you are. Know that life is not fair. Sometimes you will fail. So if you are here, you have failed before, don't worry. It's part of life. You would just get your loins, get together and work. Especially if you have written exams and it hasn't gone well. You have gone for interview, you didn't get. You applied to enter the military, you didn't get. You applied for a job, you didn't get. Please, that's not the end of life. Shake yourself, get up and keep moving. Check yourself. Get up and keep moving. I finished O level. I made a distinction. My parents had all died. My brother, everybody that was in my life had died. I was an orphan. I didn't have money. Even money to buy the form to go to sixth form, I didn't have. I told myself I'll go to teacher training college. Korea alawa kakra oho. Alawa ya. Ena kakra. So please note that you will fail. Things will get tough. Listen, nobody is here to babysit you. You will get help on the way. Praise him, but you have to soldier on. Don't kill yourself because somebody didn't help you. Please keep going. What did I say? Take a little risk. Take a little risk, including the risk to venture into new things. Okay? Get something. You have a big phone. Take up part of it. Don't tell the money to. Those days I used to go and weed in people's farms. I do chichiri in Yeji. The money I get, I send it to them to buy pamphlet for me. I tell you, you can't. As I said, the young man said, "Hey, Prof, what does it feel to be at the top? If you know the things I have gone through." If I take off my trousers, now if I'm in anymore, mean share shorts. Everywhere there's a scar because I used to follow cattle. There are scars even here, my body. It's nasty because that's what I had to go through to get here. You are here. You live in Nungwa, the richest place. You work or Presec, you have gone to all those schools. You say your situation is bad. Young man, please. Don't make me angry. Don't make me angry. Step up when things get tough. Tell yourself, encourage yourself. Encourage yourself. God said, Joshua, be strong. Energize yourself. Empower yourself. Because I, the Lord, I am with you. You are here, the Lord is with you. You are crying. Somebody too has gone to Tigari. What should he do? Me, I was Tigari fetish priest, son. You will meet people who want to bully you. Especially the young ladies. Please, don't allow any man to mess you up. Don't allow any man to mess you up. Don't. Knock them. Tell them, if you send me this message again, I will send it to your wife. If you send me this message again, I will post it on social media. Be careful. When you meet people who are down, help them too. Give people hope and never give up yourself. Getting to the top, there is no chance, there's no way you can stop midway. Because if you do, you get eaten up. If you do, you do what? So don't get eaten up. Hallelujah. We've been talking about practical orientation to achieving peak performance. I've spoken to you about a number of things. Who remembers the first one? We are done. We are done. We are done. We are done. Yes, this is the end. I will take a few questions if permission allows. Few questions. You have any question you want to ask, please ask me. We are done. I've just finished. I thank you for listening. Question number one. Question number one. So, you know, when Pastor introduced you, he said, Professor Bawole, big, my school is big one, but that's for me. Teacher Bawole. If you meet me in town and you shout Teacher Bawole, pay 5 Ghana. Hey, 50 Ghana. Anybody has a question to ask me? Anything. It's not about what we talk about. Anything about school. Anything about personal experience, challenge. There are constraints. Anything.
Please, there's a hand here.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Young man, mention your name for me and then you go ahead.
Hallelujah.
Amen.
My name is Gospel Joseph.
God's way.
I want to ask, how can young people these days conquer fear of speech? Fear of speech.
Fear of speech. Okay. Do I understand fear of speech to mean your ability to speak up? Is that what you are talking about? Explain.
Because in certain occasions, some people get scared to speak up, even when they know what to say.
Yeah,
they get scared of saying what is in their mind.
Okay. So, number one, to be able to speak up, you must be confident. You must know what you want to say. So please first make sure that you get out what you say. One of the things that I do, you see, I'm not big person. But because of my position, I get to engage a lot of people. Sometimes you go and you open the auditorium and you look at the people. Big people. You appear. You see that you become very small. But I tell one thing to myself. He who is with me is greater than those who is with them. And then I look at them and I tell them, I'm a professor. I tell myself, I'm a professor. That's the first thing I tell myself. But you see, before I get there, I try and prepare. That's one of the things. That's why I said that at all times, make sure that you gather knowledge. Because it is that emboldens you. So gather knowledge. If you are sure about what you are going to say, don't be scared. Before you attend any event or you meet anybody, prepare. Even me, when I have to go on a radio program, I have to come and speak somewhere, we spend hours preparing and praying. On my way here, I was praying. I was at the back of my car and I was praying. I was speaking in tongues. I told God, please, please. Because you see, here, and those of us who are in authority, you go to places and people have eyes, they look you, and if you are not careful, you would crumble in your seat. But young people, the good thing about you is that there's no pressure on you. The pressure on you is so number one, make sure that you gather enough knowledge, build enough knowledge, prepare well. You are going for a program, prepare, ask the thing. Number two, if it is difficult for you to just say it, write it down before you get up and speak to it. So when you stand up, because for most of us, when you stand up in the crowd, everything in your head will vanish. So to make sure you don't get caught up, please write it down. So number one, make sure you are prepared well. Number two, make sure that you go there, you write down the things you want to say, ask for the microphone like you have done. Get up, introduce yourself, and I tell you, that is, when I travel for international conferences, where there are big people, and they do the plenary, as soon as they finish, they ask, yes, anybody has a question? I'm always the first person to put up my hand. I want to announce myself. I put up my hand. They give me the one, I say, I get up. My name is Professor Justice Bawole. I'm coming from the University of Ghana Business School. And I'll ask a clinical question. And because I got up first, I attract all the attention. When they break the event, everybody, hey, Prof, hey, how is Ghana? Oh, guys, Ghana. I brought phone. Maybe. No, who was a network, baby? Hey. See, almost believe you are. Oh. So, God's way. Make sure that you prepare. Read about the things that is going to happen. So we are coming today. We are going to talk about what have you read? What and look at the background of the person who is going to speak. Try and pick up things. Connect the background to put something down. Write your question. Rehearse it. And when they are speaking, try to refine your question. You ask a question that is clinical. Two people got jobs in my school before they finished school. A big man came to speak, and two young ladies got up and asked questions. In fact, a lot of people ask questions, but those two young ladies asked a question, and then the man finished and says, those two young ladies, I want to employ them. They just ask questions. Why? They ask good questions. And every question is good question. Sometimes you ask questions, the other people, question, he doesn't understand it. Don't get intimidated. Speak up. God's way. Did you hear that? But prepare and write it down. It helps you to stay focused and to be able to shoot your question. Number 2. Hello. Yes, sir. This church is blessed, though. Young people. Yes, please.
And thank you, Elder. My name is Matthew.
Matthew, okay.
Yes, I'm also a student from the University of Ghana.
Oh, which school?
Biological Sciences.
Biological Sciences. Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so my question is, from the findings and the compilation from the Matthew 25:29.
Yes.
We realize that peak performers have certain things in common.
Yeah.
Yeah, things that they do in common. And then they stay in focus is very preeminent in all their doings. So I want to know if there are like hobbies or actual things they do in between they staying very focused, because I know the average mind will not be able to stay very focused throughout a very long period. So with this finding, were they able to bring out some hobbies we do to actually help you boost your brain's activity or ability when you come back to stay focused on what you are doing?
Yes.
Thank you.
Let me tell you, a lot of, and these are abnormal, some of them are abnormal people. A lot of them have no social life, in fact. A lot of them have no social life. Me, if I sit down to watch TV, I will sleep on the TV. I can't watch a movie, I don't even understand it. So when my kids watch these horror movies, then they are able to tell the stories. I'm shocked, because I can't bring myself to get 1 hour to sit down and waste it on a movie. So a lot of them play games in between. So for example, people who are clinical at that level also play very deep thought games, such as chess, such as Scrabble. Those games that require a lot of analytical thinking, those are the kind of games that they play. But other times, some of them, their games, their professions are also games for them. For example, how many of you have watched Ronaldo train before? You've seen it. The amount of exertion the man takes himself through, you think he's a madman. So when he gets to the field, it comes. So I think what you need to do, because what you spend a lot of your time on actually becomes the things that, and the Bible says that where your wealth is, that's where your heart is. The things you put your money to, that's what, the things you put your time to do, that's what you do. So at all times, when I was doing my PhD, I sat on my computer from 8 a.m. every day to 11 p.m. every day. But because that was when, Facebook was the thing, because there was no WhatsApp at the time and all of that. So, and then I got hooked onto Facebook. I'm on Facebook. Sometimes I spend so many hours just chatting with friends and all of that. Then I realized that, hey, Bawole, you were here for a purpose. I shut down my Facebook account because I needed to stay focused and all of that. But it is important. The good thing for us, and for me, that was the rest I got. I went to church, I prayed, I sang in church. So when I go to church, I sang and danced like nobody's business. Because for me, that was the only time I'll get to, while I wait time. And make sure that I committed a little time to church. So financial secretary, I'm doing the things and all of that. Those came in handy. And then we go visiting people who are sick and all of that. A bit of time here, there, and all. So you are on campus. A bit of your time. Oh, you are done now. Yes. So, a bit of time. Look at something that in this day and age, I have a book that is called The Side Hustle. Okay? So you can actually make money from your hobbies. For example, you can do catfish rearing. You spend time, you watch fishes, they are swimming, you are feeding them, point and kill. Then you sell them off, you make cash. You want to watch animals, do grass cutter rearing, you can cut grass for them. You can, several other things you can do. You can do online if you are online business or marketing. Those of you who are good at producing content on social media, you can do that and all of them. Produce godly content because there's a lot of junk content there and people want something else that they can. Those of you who sing well, you can sing on YouTube and record it, put it on what do you call the other one, TikTok, right? And all of that. Put godly content there because people are looking for content they can't get. And you will see that over time, you will gather followership, you become an influencer, and you can use it for something godly, right? So you can spend your excess time doing things that excite you, but some of which you can also make money from. Don't waste your energies anyhow, because at this time, every CD is important. The last one, and then we are gone. Yes, happy to hear, lady.
Please, thank you,
Yes,
Prof.
madam.
Please, my name is Forgive.
Forgive.
Yes, please. I want to ask, please, what advice do you have for a young lady like me who finds it difficult to read, yet want to be good in public speaking? Thank you.
Reading is an art. You have to cultivate it. I tell you, there is, okay, good thing. My daughter likes to read, so I buy her big voluminous book. She's 13. She will read it in a few days. She'll come and tell me the stories. So I'm excited about that. But even those of us who are professors, reading is tough. When you are studying, when you read it, as if your head is paining you, some headache, something, your eyes are, you pick a book, no, you want to sleep, and all of that. But it has to be, you have to, madam, I've said your troubles. And those who come to the old ladies when they come to school. Hey, Prof, me yes, me read because you are tired. The body is tired. When you sit small, no who you are sleeping. But reading has to be cultivated. So what you need to do is to do it consistently. Don't give up when you feel that in every profession that you remember for 10,000 hours. Yes. To get to the peak, you must invest a lot of time. And when you start, you'll be distracted. But make it a conscious effort and get yourself back. Tell yourself, oh, but this is for a purpose. And then give yourself time. The first time, it may be difficult to do even 30 minutes of reading. But you will see that over time, you will build the expertise, the experience, the energy gradually, and you will read. If you want to read and you are sleepy, it's okay. Today you have done 1 hour or some 20 minutes and you are sleepy, it's okay. It's part of it. It will come. Gradually, you program yourself. When we did child psychology in training college, we talked about learning and how things stick. So you see that when I project this thing here and I shut it down right now, several of us can recall it because it's right here in what they call the front memory. But anything that is in the front memory, over a short period of time, you will forget it. But when you have looked at it and memorize it over and over and over and over, it goes just like the computer. You save it and lock it up in the save mode. And then you would not easily recollect it. But when you make the effort, everything will come. That is why when you study, sometimes you are going into exam room, it appears that you haven't learned anything. As if say you are empty, but you go there, you see the question, no, then the point is coming. You are writing like mad. More paper. Then the persons the people who are sitting by you, they are under pressure. That is what it is. So it has to be gradual. Make it a point. Take content that also excites you. So look at content that excites you. Some content are tough. Even us, some of the books, they are very heavy. The book that I took the train incapacity from, that article, when I read it 3 times, the first time I got it, before I understood it. The language is dense, big, thick. So you read, you understand. I have to read it 3 times before I made sense out of it. But you can also find material that are very reasonable. The good thing is that the Bible is actually one of the very, very friendly books to read. Especially if you if you're afraid of die and get the Good News Bible. It reads very, very well. Just read it. If you don't bother about recollecting, just read it, and time yourself. Today I want to read for 10 minutes. Just read consistently. You will get it. Reading is very important to build your art, and you don't have it, you can't go anywhere. It doesn't even make the same sense if you actually listen to the book, the audio book. If you listen to audio book, it doesn't make the same sense as when you read the text. It's different. Bosu, you have the microphone.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Have I met you before? No. Okay.
Please, I wanted to ask that as Christians, I work with a professor at the medical school, and then he's very hardworking.
Yeah.
And So it's interesting to work with such a person. So other times also as Christians, maybe you genuinely want to be in church, and then he works very late. I end up closing up very late. How do you strike the balance in there so that is there an understanding that needs to be communicated and all of that? Thank you.
Very, very important question you ask. I tell people that most hardworking people don't want faces. They want the job done. They don't want faces. So me, my tea is, I don't care where you go. But when I want the job done, and the job must be there, it should have been done. No excuses. So you don't give me excuses. So the job has to be done. So the professor would typically, because you see what we do, and I tell my people who work with me, if you are not going to be at work, let me know ahead of time so that I don't plan with you. So we call that effective communication. Hello, Prof. Just to say that for XY reasons, I'm going to be late from work today. However, don't wait till he asks you, what about the work I gave you? However, the work you gave me, I have finished it and sent it to your email. When I come back, I would take the feedback that you have for me, and then I complete it. You will see that it will be cool. So make sure that you deliver, put the deliverables. If you have a class to attend, for example, I have a young man who works with me also, Kelvin, he's a deacon. When we have to go to class, even weekend class, he has wedding, he has a church program, youth program, he would often set me up. Prof, I'm going to go to youth service at this time. I have set up the lecture. If it's a Zoom class, you say, I will make sure that I log on, and then as soon as you come, then I can go for and all of that. He sets me up, and he has time to do everything. We don't want to see your face all the time. We want to get the job that we set you doing done. So you got to work extra hard before to make sure that you have finished your deliverables, and make sure that you inform him ahead of time and let him understand that this is who you are. If he's not a Christian, it may be a bit difficult, but a significant majority of them would understand that if it is church time, you have to go to church. What you shouldn't do is to take advantage of church. In other words, if you are not going to go to church, but you need time to do something else, don't say, I am going to church. Because that way, they would eventually get not to trust you. So I want to go to, my father said I should go to the market and do something. I want some time to go and do it. Let it be known that this is something extra time you need. Don't say I'm going to church, and then eventually he finds out that you are not in church. Then you create a problem. And a lot of Christians, including myself, I made recommendations for young Christians in my church to get employed, and they go and mess up. Some of them, I've told myself, I don't want to recommend any Christian anymore for a job. But my spirit won't allow me to not recommend them. So young people, when you get opportunities, don't mess them up. Please wake up in the morning. Go to work on time. I had to fight with my son. Come on, get up. Go and bath. He wants to, and I have 2 more minutes. You have to be there before the last 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes. Having a free fee. No, don't do that. Please. You have an appointment with somebody. Make sure you are there waiting for them before they come. Please, don't go and give excuses. Stop the nonsense about and there was traffic in town. Stop it. How many of you here, if they tell you to come to the U.S. Embassy to get a visa, you will go there later and say there was traffic? Tell me, how many of you will get there? So how come you will get an appointment and go there later and say, hey, it was traffic? Please, stop that traffic thing. Set off early. Oh, you are talking to me that me too, I should have set off early. You are bad boys, I guess. You are bad people. So, young man, talk to him. Finish your deliverables. Ask for time ahead of time. Show him your shadow. If for any reason he needs you so badly, also sacrifice. Tell your church leadership, at work and it's getting difficult, I cannot be there, and all of that. And then you say it. It's good to be transparent, and we love to support young people. It's really, it's my spirit grows, and I love to support young people. It's some of them are great, others too, Charlie.
Let's put our hands together for Prof.